Well, County Westmeath certainly isn't short of a sense of humour and a good few entertaining yarns. And with all of that in mind, we've come along here to Ladestown House on the shores of Lough Ennell, where 15 years ago, a little bird called Jack became a household name.
Just driven in here to Ladestown House, and we've just gotten out of our cars, and as you can see, Jack has come to meet us. We haven't really spoken to him yet or seen any of his antics, but he's already given me a kiss. We'll see how it goes for the rest of the day. How are you, Jack? You're a pretty boy. I think he's looking for some jewellery, apparently. He hops up to people and takes the jewellery. We'll just go over to his owner here and see what Brian has to say. Well, Brian, you're not quite welcome here this morning. Brian, where did you come across this Jack?
Jack, well, I was taking a ride out in the spring and came across this little pile of feathers and skin lying in the road with his poorly parted brethren, obviously fallen out of a nest. And he looked half dead, but I, well, that's very nice, thank you very much. Jumped off the horse, stuck him in my pocket and brought him home, not giving him much chance, but fed him up, and he became very tame and a friend of the family. And we've done this before, you know, if you treat these animals well and kindly, they do survive, but they normally fly off once they've reached their maturity. But Jack, for some incredible reason, has adopted us. He lives wild with his friends in the trees, but comes down every morning for breakfast and makes our life absolute misery. He frightens the clients. I mean, imagine coming in, a city slicker coming in for a riding lesson, suddenly having a bird landing on your head. Not the sort of thing that people normally expect to find when they come for a day's riding. He steals our car keys. He makes life misery for the stable staff. He steals their mane combs, hoof brushes, money, the client's money. We find money everywhere. It's marvellous, actually, to be honest. Yes, he is a character, but a bit of a responsibility, just the same. Well, he'd be a spring bird, so I suppose this is his first year. I'd expect him, to be honest, to fly off in the winter with his friends, and he'll probably return next year, but he'll never be the same, which is jolly good. I mean, he'll be tame enough, he'll go back to his old feeding spots, but he won't come to your shoulder. And we've had these birds before.
Have you ever had one as friendly as Jack?
Never, no. I mean, Jack's very special. Very special.
Does he actually go into the house?
Yes, he comes into the house. In fact, I think he talks. I mean, if you see him sitting there quietly and he says, Jack, Jack, come on, Jack. But I know he talks, but other people think, well, perhaps not, you know, but yes, why wouldn't he? If he's as tame as this with people, why wouldn't he try to imitate us as well? Jack! Jack, come on! Good boy. Jack. Ooh. You naughty boy. You always like a slice of bread in the morning? Like most naughty children, you could eat him sometimes, but of course he's an absolute joy. And we feel very privileged that a wild animal can become so tame and so trusting in such a short time. And it's rather sad to think that all other wildlife, given this opportunity, wouldn't be as tame.
Jack sees no barriers between himself and his human friends, and I suppose you could call Jack Ireland's first equestrian bird, because he's determined not to be left out of any activity at Ladestown House.
We try and hide from him first of all. I mean, we give him a few biscuits to get his attention diverted, and then we make a dash for it. But we don't get very far because he always catches us up, and on the way to and from the lake, he just flies above us and round us and lands on our heads and our backside. It's not very good for safety, and I do my very best, especially when he's knocking off my hat all the time, to keep him away. You can see the problems that we have. Can anyone help us?
you'd have lots of offers of people who'd want him, but you wouldn't really part with them, would you?
Yes. Oh dear. Anyway, I have some work to do today, and I'm finding it very difficult to get on with the job here with my friend.
Well, I think the two of you should ride off into the sunset now.
Well, thank you very much indeed.
Goodbye, Jack. Goodbye, Brian.
And I famously say, of course, never perform with children or animals. But Brian Peters, you did, and it made you a household name.
It did for my sins. I'm still known as the Birdman from Mullingar. Jack was part of our family for almost 2 years after the programme, and I thought we were stuck with him for life. I mean, having a wild bird is a responsibility. In the summer, for example, we couldn't keep our windows open. We'd wake up at 5 o'clock with a bird on the end of the bed, or on your pillow, worse. He cost us a fortune in plates, interior decor, but still. One summer, it was the spring really, Jack disappeared for a few days. We thought he was gone forever. I came out here and looked up on the roof, and there he was. He was with another canoodler. I couldn't believe it.
Unfaithful.
Sleeker, younger, shinier. I didn't stand a chance. But he still came to join me, but I knew I was a has-been. But having looked up on the roof and found me with his young one, he decided to move into the nearest chimney and proceeded to produce a family. And I became stepfather to 3 bouncing baby chicks.
So he developed a new life.
He developed a new life.
But the bowler hat, it remains.
The bowler hat remains. I think it's still there, and I still wear it most days. It's a little more ragged than it was, but
Thanks to Jack.
thanks to Jack. Yeah, he put it to bits. Quite funny, really.
And of course, it was horses that brought you to Ireland, and horses are your life. So how is all that going in the present economic time?
Well, I love it
Right,
here
sir.
because, it's always, for hundreds of years, we've had horses here. The sounds of horses creaking on the cobbles, it's never changed. And it gives me great satisfaction that I can still hear it and feel it. The riding school, well, as producers of horses, I think we've pulled back. What I can say is that we've retired unhurt. But now, I suppose the riding school is the mainstay. My daughter, Philippa, is an event rider in England. She was a very exciting young rider when she was young, and she's still riding in England. We produce horses for her here, something which gives me great satisfaction.
And you haven't stopped, you claim you're retired, but you haven't stopped working. You're still developing things. So.
Well, you can't retire because the moment you retire, you finish. You have to have so you have to be going somewhere. And I started a maze 15 years ago, and I'm still planting trees. It's never too late to plant trees. I mean, if we plant the sapling now, we'll never see it grow. And with my maze, they say that by the time it's 6 foot up, I'll be 6 foot down. But it doesn't matter.
Well, now, Jack may have found a new life and established his family and all of that. But you're not short of jackdaws around, trees round about. So are these all his descendants?
Jack created a dynasty. He flew off in the first year. When you adopt these animals, or when you find these animals to save them, you don't think of the long term. You don't take them on as pets. In an ideal world, they want them to go back to their wild state. And with Jack, it actually happened. And in feeding his babies, he learned to feed himself with his partner. And they flew off with the chicks that summer. And the following year, the same couple came back to the nest. And Jack came back as well. I knew it was Jack because when I called, he called back. But I'd done my bit in returning him his natural habitat.
Hello again, hello. Just called to say hello. I couldn't sleep at all tonight, and I know it's late.
Well, Brian, obviously you found the tattered bowler hat, but you'll never find the like of Jack again.
I'll never find the like of Jack, but at least I've got Mavis here to keep me comfortable.
Means it's chicken tonight.
Chicken? Well, there's not chicken for dinner tonight, but she's a good friend of mine. Not the same, but she's here.
Hello.